Every morning I wake up with purpose. They say experience comes with age. I say it comes with daring to start again.
Good morning and welcome to the morning news on TV3. My name is Na Ashoko. Coming up, Chief Justice nominee Paul Bafo-Boni. And coming up, Chief Justice nominee Paul Bafo-Boni describes accusations against him by the minority as populist, and he pledges to reform the judicial service. Content of the August 6th helicopter crash report to be made public later today. Ex-Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, GIF board member, tells High Court the SkyTrain project never reached the board or received approval. And now the details. The Chief Justice nominee, Paul Bafo-Boni, has said the minority is being populist and mischievous in their claims that he is intentionally delaying the hearing of Gertrude Tokonu's cases pending at the court. His vetting, which spanned over 8 hours, witnessed a 2-hour stalemate due to exchanges between the minority and majority leaders. Christian Yale unpacks all that happened.
It started with drama. The minority leader's description that Justice Bafuboni is a disputed nominee attracted sharp objection from the majority leader.
We gather to vet a disputed nominee for office of Chief Justice of Ghana. This should be a moment of national pride and institutional renewal.
I have an issue. The ranking member has no right, no lawful authority to raise anything about what happened in court, the processes leading to a removal of anybody. I am objecting to the use of the term disputed nominee because there's no dispute before us regarding the nomination.
The exchanges continued, prompting a break for cool heads to prevail, but the minority had prepared to walk out.
You can't just be allowed to run down everybody and get up and walk because you are Afenyo Martin. Why? It will not be allowed. I am going to look, this whole issue about you making a preliminary statement, show me a rule that says that you have a right to make a preliminary statement.
We reject the nomination. We would yield to you to proceed whilst we exit this committee room.
So we thank you very much, and we wish you a very good luck. Honourable members,
Justice Bafuboni responded to a concern that he failed to empanel judges to hear Justice Tokonu's substantive case.
A person who is not a lawyer, I will put it down to ignorance. I will say that maybe the person is uninformed about legalities, so I will pardon. But if a lawyer makes a statement like this, I would think that it is populist and maybe downright mischievous. The Chief Justice cannot be accused of failing to list cases or a panel, when the case is not even ripe for hearing. A case is ripe for hearing when pleadings have closed.
He hinted at plans to decongest the prisons using the Justice for All program.
It is a bother. I think that it was particularly for these minor offenders that the Justice for All program was introduced. It is something that I want to reignite, revamp it, so that we can have the Justice for All back on the road, so that we can get rid of some of these persons.
He anticipates a 24-hour legal system, blaming the sinking image of the judiciary on justice delays.
Admittedly, there are some cases that do not move fast as a result of, as I said earlier, the technicalities associated with our rules. We also recognize the fact that there are some judges and magistrates who do not put up their best. And all these add to the creation of backlogs. We also want to encourage ADR.
On the issue of enrollment into the law school, he noted that there is a need to get more lawyers to meet current demands, and also stated there is no problem with the current system for appointment of judges. Once given the nod, he is expecting to resource the Legal Aid Commission to serve its purpose, while affirming that his appointment is merited. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Parliament.
It has been 3 months since the military helicopter crash that claimed the lives of 8 people, including 2 cabinet ministers. A report on the crash has been submitted to the National Security Council and will be made public today. There's more in this report.
The military helicopter was en route, an event aimed at tackling illegal mining, Galamsey, when it crashed at Sadanse Akrofom in the Ashanti region. The Ministry of Defense announced the constitution of a formal board of inquiry chaired by the National Security Coordinator and was given 30 days to submit its reports on the causes of the crash. Civil society organizations and the Bureau of Public Safety raised concerns about transparency, urging that the probe be made public and not handled solely by the military. By early October, reports indicated that a preliminary report had been completed and was undergoing review. According to the Ministry of Information, the final investigative report has been submitted to the National Security Council and is expected to be made public on Tuesday, November 11, 2025. The report is expected to clarify the causes of the crash, the condition of the aircraft, weather factors, and whether any mechanical or human error contributed to the tragedy. The accident claimed the lives of 8, including Minister for Defense Dr. Edward Omanebuama, Member of Parliament for Tamale Central and Minister for Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Alhaji Ibrahim Mutala Mohammed. The rest are Acting Deputy National Security Coordinator Alhaji Muniru Mohammed, Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress Dr. Samuel Sapong, former parliamentary candidate and Deputy NADMO Director Samuel Abuaji. The military personnel who also died in the crash are Wing Commander Peter Bafemi Anala, who was a pilot, Flight Lieutenant Manin Chum Ampedu, and Flight Sergeant Ernest Adomensa.
A former board member of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Yao Odami Dakwa, has told the High Court that the Accra SkyTrain project was never submitted to the board. Neither was it given board-level approval for funding. Yao Odami Dakwa, the prosecution's first witness, submitted his witness statement into evidence when the trial of the former chief executive of GIF, Solomon Asamoah, and the board chair, Professor Ameya Akumfi, started on Monday. Lord Edwasare reports.
Executive Officer of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Solomon Asamoah, and former board chair, Professor Christopher Ameya Akumfi, have been charged with 6 counts of intentionally causing financial loss to the state in the sum of $2 million for the Accra SkyTrain project, which never materialized. They have pleaded not guilty and are on bail. In court on Monday, November 10, the prosecution, led by Deputy Attorney General Dr. Justice Remsai, called on the state's first witness, a former board member of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. Yao Odami Dakwa, among other things, indicated in his witness statement that although the SkyTrain project was introduced at one of the board meetings, no proposal was submitted and hence there were no deliberations or approval for its funding. Dakwa explained that he only became aware of the alleged $2 million payment for the SkyTrain project after reading the Auditor General's report. He further dismissed certain minutes from an alleged GIIF board meeting, noting that it did not accurately reflect the board's reflections on the SkyTrain project. The state's first witness added that during his tenure as a board member, multiple investment projects were undertaken, including Terminal 3 of Kotoka International Airport and Maha Beach Resort. After tendering his witness statement as evidence, the defense lawyers were called to begin cross-examination of the prosecution witness. The case has been adjourned to Wednesday, November 12 for continuation of the cross-examination. Lord Drasari, TV3 News, Accra.
And lawyers for the third convicted coup plotter, Bright Alan Deborah Ofosu, have expressed confidence in their appeal of the death sentence after their client was granted bail. Early on, the High Court granted Deborah Ofosu a 2.5 million cedi bail pending the appeal of his sentence at the Supreme Court. Lord Edwasare has this to say.
Bright Alan Deborah Ofosu, a fleece manager, was convicted alongside 5 others for conspiracy to commit high treason and was subsequently sentenced to death by hanging. He filed both an appeal and an application for bail pending that appeal. The panel of 3 justices, presided over by Justice Eugene Yedunyante, ruled that after considering the affidavits in the support and in opposition, the convict had demonstrated exceptional circumstances which warranted the grant of bail. As part of the bail conditions, Deborah Fusu is required to submit his passport to the court registry and can only travel outside the jurisdiction with express permission from the court. He is also to be placed on a stop list at all entry points in the country. One of the two sureties must be justified with a landed property. The court further directed that the convict appellant has 6 months to prepare the records of appeal and transmit same to the Supreme Court not later than April 9, 2026, adding that any breach of these conditions could lead to the revocation of the bail. His lawyer, Matthias Jochi, spoke to journalists after proceedings.
We've demonstrated other circumstances that show that the accused persons were not given a fair trial. For example, we've quoted from page 415, page chapter 35 of ACP Agodio's book. He was the 10th accused person in that case. And he outlined several breaches of the constitutional rights and other rights of the accused persons. And so we are very confident that this appeal we will succeed. And I'm not surprised that the court, by God's grace, has granted us bail pending that.
On January 24, 2024, a 3-member panel of the High Court, presided over by Justice Ifeasewa Asaribuchi, convicted and sentenced 6 persons to death after being found guilty of high treason. The 6, including military officers, were found guilty for their respective roles and sentenced to death by hanging. 3 others, including ACP Benjamin Agojo, were acquitted by the High Court. Lodido Asari, TV3 News, Accra.
Organized labor is urging calm among workers who have expressed disappointment over the newly announced 9% increase in base pay. Labor leaders say while they expected a higher adjustment, they are prepared to push for a cost of living allowance from 2026 if inflation and other economic conditions worsen. Our Labor Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku reports.
The government on Sunday, November 9, announced a 9% salary increase for workers on a single-spine salary structure following a meeting with organized labor. The new pay adjustment is expected to take effect from January 2026. Some workers have expressed disappointment, saying the increase does not reflect the cost of living crisis. They have also criticized the leadership of organized labor for failing to secure what they describe as a better deal. But Deputy Secretary General of Trade Union Congress, Dr. Kwabranya Kootu, has appealed to the aggrieved workers to remain calm. He explained that organized labor will not hesitate to demand a cost of living allowance in 2026 if inflation and other economic factors worsen.
In 2022, the wage increase was 7%. Then, in the course of the year, when prices began rising faster, and the economy went out of gear and cost of living was unbearable, labor quickly regrouped and managed to force a 15% cost of living allowance from government. Okay, so when that point comes, we will surely cross the bridge when we get there.
General Secretary of the Teachers and Education Workers Union, TEU, King James Azotiba, also noted that organized labor will continue to engage government to ensure that the conditions of service for various unions are approved. He called on the government to prioritize the recruitment of more workers into the public sector.
And once inflation starts going up, the lending rate will go up. Businessmen cannot borrow. Employers cannot borrow to expand their businesses to employ, because government alone cannot employ this our teeming population. And so we have to factor all this as labor experts, and we understand the problem. Not that we are understanding government. We are resetting Ghana. All of us must reset.
The Ghana Gold Board has arrested 25 individuals whom it said were involved in illegal gold fabrication, trading and smuggling. The Deputy Chief Executive Officer, Richard Dunekbeku, who briefed the media in Accra, said the suspects have been granted police inquiry bail pending prosecution.
According to Richard Dunekbeku, the first arrest involving 4 Indians and 1 Ghanaian took place on November 5. The arrest was led by a joint intelligence team from the Ghana Gold Board and the National Security. A second arrest involving 20 individuals took place on November 6. The suspects were found engaging in unauthorized gold fabrication and jewelry making activities. The task force received various exhibits, which included gold pieces, rings, mobile phones, a CCTV recorder, a lock, gold bars, cash, and unlicensed gold trading documents.
Investigations are currently ongoing to trace secondary locations for these operatives and financial transactions linked to the suspects. At the moment, the Ghana Gold Board has granted these suspects police inquiry bails pending further prosecution of the matter. On the second arrest, Gold Board intelligence, acting on a tip-off, raided the premises of Legend Precious Metal located at Achimota, Akweteman, Accra. Preliminary investigations confirmed that Legend Precious Metal was operating without a valid license for the Ghana Gold Board. Evidence also indicates smuggling route through neighboring countries and fraudulent schemes targeting unsuspected buyers. The Gold Board wishes to use this opportunity to reiterate its zero-tolerance stand on illegal gold trading, smuggling, and unlicensed assaying and purchase of gold.
The Deputy CEO urged citizens and stakeholders to verify the legitimacy of gold dealers, buyers, and exporters from the Ghana Gold Board.
All the foreigners you see here today, we have in custody their passports. So we don't anticipate any of them leaving the shores of this country, even if they have been granted bail and they've met the bail condition. For Ghanaians, the option of whether or not what the bail condition is has been left to the court. The next stage will be to work on the dedicated court, which we think will also help us in several ways of making sure that we have a court that we can go to anytime we are ready. We've gotten a fiat that we're working with, and that will give us opportunity to be in control.
And that's it for the morning news. My name is Na Ashokor. And as my colleague George Quainin always says, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. We'll be back with the rest of TV3 Newday. Stay tuned.
This group, they are called
Team Eternity.
Yes.
Team Eternity. And they call the song Defe Defe.
Defe Defe.
Yeah, Defe Defe.
Very popular when it came. I think that will be a year ago or two.
I think a couple of years ago. When they put out this video, I think it's one of the new Christian songs that sort of introduced. Should I call it just the youthful Afrobeat vibe,
pop kind of gospel,
of gospel.
Yeah,
I know Joe Metal does it too.
Yeah,
but if you've noticed the younger gospel artists, so Joe Metal, MOG, Perez Music, and so on. When you watch their videos, from their clothes, their trainers. The vibe is all very attractive to young people, and I think it's great for the gospel music industry. So the younger people are more, they find gospel music nowadays appealing, and like they can connect. Gone were the days when all of our gospel songs came with videos in, 3-piece.
Maybe the local. Okay, so
3-piece. No, it was good then at the time, 3-piece and then choreographies, at the time.
No trousers even.
No trousers.
Yes.
Yeah. And holding flowers.
Shame on you.
Yeah. No, but it was a time. Yeah, it was a time.
But I think that was purely in Ghana because Kirk Franklin was doing something
else.
else.
I'm referring to Ghana.
Yes.
I'm referring to Ghana. But that was a time. It was good then. Yeah. Well, and you remember Nyamibe, Shewako,
Yeah.
Remember that song? I didn't think Beatrice would remember because Beatrice is very young.
Oh, I think.
Yeah.
It's your birthday tomorrow.
Tomorrow you celebrate your birthday.
Yeah.
So make sure that you don't get tempted because it looks like now and now on a 24-hour spree, 48-hour spree to tempt you. All right. To say things that you're not supposed to say.
I will not be tempted.
So we're doing a 24-hour countdown to the birthday of
Beatrice.
And Beatrice is so meticulous about how she does her pronunciations.
Yeah.
So, Beatrice.
Yes, sir. Let her pronounce it. Pronounce it.
It's Beatrice.
Beatrice.
Please. One. There's one.
Beatrice.
Mademoiselle. She speaks French also.
Yeah.
So she's a very multilingual person.
Multilingual, multi-talented.
But yesterday was quite exciting. Let me say good morning to Chairman Godwin Tamaklo, the RATES Group Chief Executive. Now he's laughing at the corner. Chairman Prosper as well. Salifu Combat. Salifu Combat is Dr. Salifu Combat, the boss for the National Health Insurance Authority, the Upper East region. And then, of course, Edmond Combat as well is the managing director, the Tema Oil Refinery, and Alhaji Jibril of National Security, and everybody else, Delzi and the rest of Philippine, Kins, and Gloria, Davina, all those who tend to watch us, we're grateful. And yesterday, we had the acting Chief Justice appearing before the Appointments Committee, and now you did the observation because among us, you were tasked to be taking notes. So what did you observe?
Is that so? Well, yeah, so yesterday...
but that was what Shadrach and then Anita said we should do.
Did you
after
say,
the production meeting.
All right. Sure.
Shadrach and Anita,
Roland. No, you're right, Roland. So yes, yesterday the vetting of the CJ nominee, acting CJ, Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Bafo-Boni, did happen amidst a lot of controversy. I don't know if it's right to say it was not expected, but the vetting took place over a period of about 8 hours, and it was marked with a walkout on the minority side. The minority came to the room with a prepared speech, which they read. They described the acting Chief Justice as the disputed Chief Justice nominee, and this was not received well by the majority side. Eventually, they challenged the nomination. They walked out of the vetting. They did not participate, but the vetting did go on. It did go on. It was long. Some controversial statements were made. There has been a lot of commentary on the matter, and we're going to get into it proper on our This Morning segment, as well as our Big Issues segment later during the show. And so it was, I think the main problem, Roland, according to the minority side, the main problem is the issues with the way the former Chief Justice was removed. and the many suits that are still pending before the courts, and some allegations about how the acting Chief Justice is handling the hearings, or the fact that the hearings have not actually taken place in their view. But we'll get into it. Afenyo Markin, though, Minority Leader Afenyo Markin, he was very passionate yesterday when he was speaking and, laying his concerns before the House, talking about judicial independence and political interference and so on. But we'll play the tape for those of you who missed it. I
loved, and I'm glad we just showed that video. When Afenyo was making his, I should say, preliminary statements, the stern look of the CJ, kind of listening attentively. And for me, I think that what really erupted this whole thing was because Mahama Ayariga, the majority leader, was bent on ensuring that the process was not disrupted. Because he said that today, I'm not going to allow you to break any rules. We'll stick to the rules and we'll go according to what happened. I mean, what we're supposed to be doing. And of course, the minority already also having its own plans didn't want to go with it yet. But aside from that, I thought that the responses of the nominee were quite insightful. The bit about the alternative conflict resolutions. I mean, that's something that we've been talking about all the time, but we don't seem to implement it. The controversial bit you talked about, the 70-year term, but if you listen, that's my interpretation. The other comments that he made, which I found very insightful as well. I think he was asked about corruption. And he said that the judiciary is as corrupt as the people who man it. Because the people who rise to be leaders come from us. So if my leaders are corrupt, it means that we ourselves, we are corrupt. And for me, it's a statement that always, brings the reality to the table. That's really what it is. Space. Exactly. Yes, because you're corrupt in your corner, nobody will see you. They say money highlights who you truly are. So if you're a thief in a poor condition, when you're given authority and money, you're still big. So for me, it was a very big a statement that he made that I think all of us as individuals, we should reflect on. And of course, a lot more things that he said that I thought were quite good.
He spoke about using AI to empanel judges. And I thought that was interesting, because it's one of the issues that has birthed a lot of controversy, the empaneling of judges. How is it done? Does the biases of the Chief Justice come to play? These are questions that have been asked and issues that have been raised. And so using AI, as is done in other parts of the world, I know in the US, they have AI tools which they use to empanel judges and even to determine certain bail conditions and so on.
Just the human interference. But something he said that I don't know how Roland would take it, when he said he left the prison service just so he could marry his wife. And he's trending with that statement as well. And I find it quite interesting because people say that when a man really wants you, he will do everything to get you. So,
but Roland is a hopeless romantic.
Please, what did you say again?
You're a hopeless romantic. Everybody who knows Roland knows that you're very romantic. And this is something that
according
Roland
to the connoisseurs and the critics,
Roland,
you were splendid.
Roland, would you leave a job?
Exceedingly splendid.
Roland, would you leave a job that you love, right? So that you can be with a woman that you're crazy about?
I don't understand the question.
Would you leave a job that you love?
But I thought we were supposed to have this morning
I'm
segment.
asking you a question. Would you leave a job so that you can be with a woman you're crazy about?
I thought we're having this morning segment.
Yes, having all the things.
That's what we're
conversation about all the things.
Then let's go to bed. Please, we have cash out. It goes with a short
You're not answering the question.
It goes with a short
everybody knows that you're a hopeless romantic, even though you pretend you're not, And being such a handsome gentleman and having, so many women falling over themselves for you.
Yes.
The question is whether you make a
Dr.
sacrifice.
Juliet Yayiratengi, good morning to you. Mama War of the Asogli State.
Roland has decided he's not answering the question.
And so quickly.
He didn't say hello to Ajeto Chema.
Oh,
is the
Honorable Ochemma.
Yes.
MC for
Obake.
Obake.
Welcome to the show. And so our question for you for this morning segment basically is very simple. What do you make of the appearance, of course, of the CJ nominee who is acting as well? That is Justice Paul Bafuboni. And then, of course, all the drama that also ensued with the minority walking out, etc., in that vetting process yesterday. Very simple. You said I'm romantic?
Yeah.
Okay, great. That's
but
10
you
over
still
10.
didn't answer
What
the
else?
question.
What
The question
so,
was
so
whether
the phone
you
lines
leave
are
the
open.
job,
the phone lines are
for a
open.
woman you're crazy about.
The phone line, no,
like
no.
the CJ did.
Usually men don't do that. And the only person, Romeo and Juliet, that guy died. And then the film Titanic, Jack, he died. You know.
So your conclusion is that?
No, I'm saying I'm only.
Women. Don't make sacrifices, otherwise you will die.
So there will be a limit
Please,
to which
this morning segment is up next.
And you're welcome to This Morning segment. Yeah, so we are asking you about the appearance of the CJ nominee, Justice Paul Bafuboni, before the appointment committee yesterday, and what transpired, the back and forth between the minority leader, Alexander Apenyo-Marking, and the majority leader, Mahama Yariga, the intervention of the chairman of the committee, Bernard Ahiapo, and everything really that transpired, the responses to the questions that were asked, what you make of all of these. The numbers will be displayed on your screen, but we do have our first caller who's joining us from Somanya. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us on This Morning segment.
Good morning, Sister Beatrice.
Yes.
And greetings to you all, Sister Nine and Ronan. I'm calling from Yulokrobo, Somanya. Yesterday, what the minority leader had done is uncalled for. Because if the minority leader at his place, the parliament chief is sitting there, and then is doing this thing, you will not be happy? So why Otunfo have brought his delegation to the president is doing that here? It makes me very shocking. So it should reserve from what he's doing, so that the country for move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You didn't tell us your name, sir.
I'm George. George Akumoti.
George, calling from Yulokrobo in Sobenya. Thank you so much for calling us and for sharing your views with us.
It's very important as well. So we have a couple of comments coming through already. And then Eric Ametokwame, good morning to you, senior, says, don't you feel harassed by your female colleagues in the studio this morning? Yeah, I'm being harassed. I mean, I'm sweating. And we have air conditioning right here. And Dr. Tenge says, Roland, you understood the question. Don't run away. I take greetings from you as well, okay? And then Delzy says, I should answer the question. It's a liar, liar. Mami Tedwa also says that I should answer the question as well. Prince Nanea York is also watching, all right?
Okay, we'll be going very shortly to the phone lines again, but let's watch that period when the minority in Parliament walked out.
To you to proceed whilst we exit this committee room with our views well documented for the records, and on the floor we shall proceed with the debate, further stating our position and take a vote against the nominee as required by the rules of the plenary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader. But how do you reject a nominee who is yet to be vetted?
Yes. No, she believes in us.
The report is not ready to be voted for. We are not at the stage of approval. So your conclusion is very preemptive. Yes,
Chairman with respect. Chairman with respect.
This is not what I want you to respond.
No, Chairman, but
I don't want your
Chairman,
response
to the extent that you've raised it, I just need to.
Honorable Minority Leader,
Chairman,
you have your day.
Chairman,
you have your day. The two microphones should be off.
Chairman,
the two microphones should be off. With all due respect,
we have registered our position.
Honorable Minority Leader,
that we have rejected. We don't need to beg
agreed on your position.
We rejected, and we
agreed on your position. Yes. When it is time for voting, then you can vote against. Yes. So we thank you very much, and we wish you a very good luck. Honorable members.
So the minority walking out with a sound in the background, bye-bye, bye-bye, and obviously eventually going out for the majority to take complete charge of the vetting process and asking all the questions that, the other side was in there.
I think they should have stayed. They should have stayed and asked
I agree.
Justice Paul Bafuboni all the questions they wanted to ask.
Yeah, I agree.
And then also, the president took a decision based on Article 146.
Yep.
Okay. So if that was a separate action by the president, of course, having consulted the Council of State, a committee, in-camera sitting, a report has been submitted, an action or a decision has been made by the president. I don't see how that becomes a matter of parliamentary inquiry or inquisition or a subject for you to question on. But again, I believe that the minority leader is an experienced legal practitioner, but also a member of parliament, and so has a lot of hindsight and perhaps more information.
Yeah.
And based on which he made that decision for the whole of his other colleagues that he had.
But I think that was also
to move away.
Yeah.
But I thought that the decision to boycott deprived the ordinary Ghanaian of what could have been by way of the inquisitorial question that could have been asked beyond what the majority members within the committee would have asked.
Indeed.
Because, when you're in the minority, you're more probing, you're more aggressive, and you tend to give the other side of the political divide a lot more verve, a lot more action to be able to undertake decisions on.
Yeah.
And I think a section of the Ghanaian population have been deprived of that. Besides, the nominee himself, the acting Chief Justice, has so much experience on the bench.
70 years at the
and
bar.
So for us
at the bench, at the Supreme Court.
Yeah. And for us not having the minority side, who could have been bold to ask the tough questions, that is, if you have nothing to lose, I think also deprives the acting Chief Justice, the nominee himself, to be able to answer some of the questions ideally that would have been on the top of the mind of many people. For example, I'm sure if the minority leader was there, he would have asked certain pertinent decisions that were taken by the outgone Chief Justice, because he was also part of the Supreme Court as well.
But even without that, he still went ahead and answered that question about people thinking that perhaps he wasn't competent and maybe the position was awarded because of his decision during Ghana's first election petition in 2013. And he really responding that I would have been sad if that was the only reason the president used to appoint me many years later to be the CJ of the country. But again, I'm just looking at this two ways, where the minority already had threatened that it wasn't happy with the vetting that was going to come up. It was going to protest against it. So it's kind of, we're going to fulfill our words or our promise. But the other side is also what Mahama Ayariga said, that if you have any issues, those are outside of this place. The reason you can't use the word disputed, because you haven't gone to court to challenge his nomination.
And there was no disputes before the appointment committee itself.
Yes.
And so the use of that word was displaced. But I mean, what better way to register your protest than to stay and ask the questions?
The critical questions.
To the nominee before you. is the question I have. Because you know that with or without your presence, that they have the quorum to be able to go ahead. So why not stay and then ask the questions? But, well, we have another caller joining us. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Mejina Kwesi.
Mejina, where are you calling us from?
Don't you know where I'm calling from?
Because the call registered as coming from Teshi. That's why I'm asking where you are.
This is Mejina Sunyane.
From Sunyane, right. Welcome to the show.
You know, the name is only one.
Okay.
Unadulterated name.
Yes, sir.
Unique
Great to have
name.
you.
A special name.
What are your thoughts on yesterday's walkout by the minority side?
You see, let me take this opportunity, the greatest opportunity given to me on this your platform, to tell the minority not to take Ghanaian for a ride. We are serious people who want to see something serious happening in this country. So do the minority think, supposing that we want to bring back that woman, the spy chief justice?
No.
Hello. Don't let be sugar coated on what we are. Why? They have been taken up for right. Do you know that when they appear before the vetting committee, their allowance will be given to them?
But they are performing their parliamentary duty. Boycott is part of parliament.
Did they finish their parliamentary duty on that? Did they finish?
Parliamentary protest, maybe.
Did they finish their tax? They didn't. You know, even their shoes, my taxes is used to pay them.
Their shoes
that they wear. Oh. Whatever they do, it's my money. It's not taxpayers' money.
Just let us know what you think about the walkout. Okay.
My thought is that when the man appeared before the appointment committee, he really spoke very open.
Okay.
And what touches me is the delay in court cases. In court, to the extent he raised a very vital issue regarding where judges or people who are serving at the bench, where they live. Some will go and hire a room from somebody who is a litigant. Maybe because of that, the person will come to court because he thinks that he or she is a landlord to the Lord in court. You think he will get a favor. And we are not thinking about it. Come to Sunyane.
All right.
I know a judge who hired a room to stay.
Mejina.
Okay,
hello, Mejina. Oh, okay.
Thank you for your call. We have somebody else joining us.
Yes, we do have another person on the line. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
My name is Sowat Nere. I'm calling from Teshi.
You're the Teshi man. How are you? How is Teshi today?
Okay,
Everything is good.
Great. Share your thoughts with us.
Good morning to you all in the studio.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Over no, a few matching to work at Ghana fan. Kelly, the Mokwata Filmodon, but I did not a few matching to one anything. No, it bet fine. It bet for never taking, can you take him by never touching? Just never cause commotion get machine here. And a man, it's a man baba, it's a man noya, ba. One, I mean, what would be na no kukwana back after no marking care would be. Mr. Nenya Kumoku saying, maybe Ghana, you do not rapid aqua woman than my Geniano. I found a Canadian motion. No more make a canoe.
no one would be again. Anyway, I can know about make a few no market action. Any bar, I make up again, they buy bar. Then what I'm number one, they no fellow iron. Shall make up the market and cause commotion. They done after the you know, what's a okay? More buy, you know. No, buy, no, my boy got to any customer. More back, get a ball, oh, moment. Ah, mother.
Thank you very much.
And he was just expressing his disappointment in the way Afenyo Markin, the deputy minority leader, conducted himself yesterday. And he says it brings division. You know? It doesn't bring progress, it brings division. All right, let's go back to the phone lines and talk to this next caller. Hello? Hello, are you there?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Yes, sir. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Patrick. I'm calling from Pando.
Welcome to the show, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to say that what happened yesterday at the vetting was simply very shameful. It was very, very unpatriotic on the part of the minority leader. In fact, it is self-aggrandizing. He is on the way to destroying himself. Somebody should advise him to stop the way he's doing. It won't help him at all. In fact, whether they like it or not, the process continued and ended, and hopefully, God willing, Justice Bafuboni will definitely sail through and become the Chief Justice. The question they should be asking themselves, or somebody should be asking them, is, at the end of the day, will they appear before him in the court one day for one reason or the other? These are some of the things they should be thinking about before they do their things. Thank you so much for having me.
Grateful for your contribution. You can also call us. The phone line is on the screen. And if you haven't cashed out this morning, you want to do so now. Dial *439#, select option 2 for TV3 and win. Today we have 10K.
Yes.
10K.
Yes.
10K.
Any bonus?
All right. We have 10,000 cities going out to 10 of you. So dial *439# now, and you can win 1,000 Ghana cities. All right. Select option 2 for TV3 and play about 40 times and win big on the show.
Yes.
All right.
All right, I have a couple of messages. This one is coming from Kofi Kwatingam in Kukro. Says, with all that happened yesterday, I blame the chair for the committee, the Honorable Bernard Ahiafo. He asked Afenyo Markin to conclude on 15 occasions. Joe Wise would not have tolerated this from any ranking member. He needs to be reshuffled. Hey.
Is this person a member of the minority or MPP?
And then I have this one from Richard Amankwa Kwashi, who says that, please, I know how vocal you are. Please answer the simple question from the ladies and what they're asking you. What question did they ask? Prince Daniel York. Prince Daniel York says, yesterday, the minorities' walkout was entirely predictable as they constantly weaponized vetting to project an image of caring for Ghana. Yet the actions revealed that they were doing that purely for partisan gain. The more they pull these stunts, the more Ghanaians grow furious with them. The very behaviors that landed them in opposition still define them. Why not simply wait for the question time and rephrase it in a way that compels him to respond? Okay, it says clearly the NPP is suffering from a leadership vacuum right now. And then Sherry Giovanni, good morning to Sherry Giovanni. Sherry Giovanni says that yesterday's vetting could have been an interesting one if the minority had stayed. But I blame the majority leader for arrogating powers he doesn't have to himself, that it will never happen under his word for anyone to violate any rules. This halted the proceeding for almost 3 hours. I think that was a calculated move to infuriate the minority so as to prevent them, especially the Honorable Afenyo Markins, from grilling the CJ nominee. All right, and then adds, may the NDC treat the MPP fairly, and says good morning to Daniel in Chukpo as well. Dr. Kofi Anochi of KAOD Consult. Good morning to you. He says that he's watching us and interesting discussions so far. Okay, do we have more callers? Okay, Randa Shao says that the minority needed to have stayed there to ask the questions that they wanted to. Walking out was not an option they should have taken.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go to Osebo who joins us live on the phone. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us where you're calling us from and share your thoughts with us as well.
Well, good morning. I'm calling from Koforidua.
Koforidua, yes, sir.
Yes. It appears almost all your callers this morning to your show seem not to agree with the decision which was taken by the minority, led by the minority leader. But I think that, especially to my sister, now it's a learning colleague, so she ought to have understand that if you form part of a coalition link, then you are part of the coalition.
So I'm not sure you're being fair to
Please go ahead.
But you can go ahead with your point.
What I'm saying is that the minorities from the inception of this whole process have, deployed that they think there's something wrong with the inception of the process. Then it moves on to several stages at a point. I mean, the most important point where Parliament needs to vet a nominee to take up the petition that they feel illegally being changed. But, people feel that no, the best way to have established their displeasure was to say and ask questions. So you vet the nominee and later you say you don't agree. No. You rather have to devoid yourself from the process. So clearly, I feel minority did the best so far as, somebody like me was expecting of them. Even though I'm in support of Bafuboni, I think that he has done nothing wrong. And then the presidency neither has done anything, so obviously wrong. Just that, the spirit and the letters of our constitution, much power has been invested into the hands of the president to do, to carry activities of this nature, and seemingly paint a picture of, kind of a exorbitant exertion of powers. That is not his fault. But if you are a minority and you feel that this process is kind of an abuse, it's kind of, not demonstrating democratic powers as given to a president, and you form part of, a vetting board, then you go ahead to ask the nominee. So why did you do this? Why did you? And later you say, I don't like you. Then why did you vet me? So please, people need to understand and know that to say the walkout is the most strongest form of demonstrating a displeasure. And that is exactly what they did. And then I saw the chairman saying that, you've not vet the nominee. Why do you reject him? The process is not to say that after vetting reject. You can even reject the person, from the onset of appointment. Immediately the name is pronounced, you feel that this person, I think he shouldn't even come to us.
All right, thank you very much for...
Then, they can walk away. So the final decision whatsoever of their walkout is a rejection that you think you are not doing. It's not about competence. It's not about, your ability to have answered my question right or family to But the process that is bringing you to, power or to be informed.
All right.
To be erroneous.
Thank you. We'll have to end it here, but thank you very much. Thank you so much for calling us from Koforidua. in the eastern region. And of course, you can still call in. The numbers are displayed on the screen. But there's a world-class university right here in Ghana, Rosebank International University, a strong South African university, and a brand of the ADV Tech Group, Africa's largest private education provider, with 146 schools across 5 African countries and over 100,000 learners, and partly owned by the World Bank through the IFC. Rosebank International University is fully accredited by the South African Qualifications Authority, the British Accreditation Council, GTEC in Ghana, City Guilds UK, and Capsicum Culinary Studio. At Rosebank International University, we offer a Doctor of Business Administration, MBA, Master of Science, and Master of Philosophy in Digital Marketing, Master of Supply Chain Management, targeting professionals in freight forwarding, customs, etc. We also offer hospitality and culinary arts, available at diploma, undergraduate, and postgraduate levels. Our ICT has BSc Information Technology in Business Systems and IT Computer Application Development, all carefully designed to equip you with the skills and qualifications needed for a successful global career. Our mission is simple: inspiring excellence. Admissions are now open for January 2026. You can visit our modern campus at Airport Commercial, that is Opebia House, Accra, or apply online at www.riuc.edu.gh. Rosebank International University, building global citizens.
When you read that thing, very sweet. Citizens. Take us for a break.
Yes, and you're still here on Newday on TV3. When we come back, we'll bring you some more. Do stay with us.
proceed with the debate, further stating our position and take a vote against the nominee as required by the rules of the plenary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minority Leader. But how do you reject a nominee who is yet to be vetted?
Yes. No, she believes in us.
The report is not ready to be voted for. We are not at the stage of approval. So your conclusion is very preemptive.
Yes, Chairman, with respect.
To respond.
No, Chairman, but
I don't want your
Chairman,
response on
to the extent that you've raised it, I just need to.
Honorable Minority Leader,
Chairman,
you have your day.
Chairman,
you have your day. The two microphones should be off.
Chairman,
the two microphones should be off. With all due respect,
we have registered our position.
Honorable Minority Leader,
that we have rejected. We don't need to
agreed on your position.
We rejected, and we
agreed on your position.
Yes.
When it is time for voting, then you can vote again. Yes. So we thank you very much, and we wish you a very good luck. Honorable members. Yes. Honorable members, those present here, we have the constitutional quorum to proceed to vet the Chief Justice nominee and present our report accordingly to Parliament.
Of the caucus, we hear with a heavy heart, but an unshakable resolve to defend the Constitution of Ghana, protect judicial independence, and uphold the rule of law. We gather to vet a disputed nominee for office of Chief Justice of Ghana. This should be a moment of national pride and institutional renewal.
I have an issue. The ranking member has no right, no lawful authority to raise anything about what happened in court, the processes leading to a removal of anybody, and the nomination of anybody. You have no right, pursuant to our rules, to raise those issues. So be guided, because if you raise them, I'm going to object. I am objecting to the use of the term disputed nominee, because there's no dispute before us regarding the nomination.
There are dark clouds.
And it's time now for big issues. The video you just saw, of course, is a tape from proceedings yesterday in Parliament. Yesterday marked a very pivotal and heated moment in our judicial and political landscape as a country. The vetting of the Chief Justice nominee, Acting Chief Justice, Justice Paul Bafo-Boni. This happened yesterday. It was marked with some controversy, some have said not unexpected, as the minority side came to the room with a prepared speech, which was read by the Honourable Minority Leader, Honourable Afenyo Markin. And they basically rejected the nomination and boycotted the vetting process, describing the nominee as a disputed Chief Justice nominee. They cited many reasons, including some of the legal processes which the removed Chief Justice, former Chief Justice Gertrude Tokonu, has begun in the courts. And they say that participating in that vetting process would undermine some constitutional process. And so they basically walked out. Now, this walkout has been met with mixed reactions from a cross-section of Ghanaians. If you go online, you read comments on social media. In fact, from our this morning segment on TV3 Newday, a lot of you called, and it appears a lot of you were registering your displeasure with the way the minority side conducted themselves yesterday. The entire process took place over a period of about 8 hours. The vetting process did take place. It was long, it was interesting. Some of the answers from the nominee have sparked conversations about our justice delivery system and the like. Now, we're going to have this conversation as well as that report which has been filed, which is yet to be set to be made public today on the helicopter crash, which unfortunately claimed 8 lives in the month of August, including 2 cabinet ministers. The report is set to be made public today. Now, some questions have been asked about whether or not it is necessary at all for this report to be made public and what it means for national security and other things. We'll get into that as well. But we have some visuals for you. For those of you who did not or were not able to watch yesterday's vetting process, we have some visuals for you just to put our discussion into proper context before we begin the conversations. Let's take a look.
The way things are going, we think that we don't want to. If you are not careful, and you saw the interjection that I made, if you are not careful, you might even speak against anybody like the majority leader and whatnot, and we don't want to proceed. I don't know when the majority took the decision that when a minority has a position, we don't have to air it. I don't know. Take this and it's not right. Let's allow the process. Let's go through the process. All the questions that we need to ask, let us ask them. I mean, that is what civil societies demand, but it didn't work.
And that was a press conference yesterday by the minority side after the walkout, to register their protest about the vetting of the Chief Justice nominee. But in studio now, we have been joined by Ramsey. Ramsey Inusa is the Director, Political Research of the new United Party. Ramsey, how are you?
I am doing well. Good morning to you.
Good morning. It's great to have you. Thank you.
You're looking good as usual.
Thank you. As are you.
Thank you.
All right.
It's quite unfortunate that, we have the same team.
Accra House of Oak.
Of course. Never say that
until the bones are rotten. But bones never get rotten.
Indeed, we'll bounce back strongly.
Yes, absolutely.
And so I would like to commend the players for what they showed. Indeed.
They did their best.
I don't know. We didn't have a VAR at the pitch.
You see?
We could have looked at that goal, whether it was an offside or not.
It could never have been an offside.
But indeed, time will tell.
Yes. We'll have our day. We'll have our day. We'll have our day. So I'm sure you witnessed some of what happened or all of what happened during the vetting yesterday. How did all of that strike you?
Well, I wasn't surprised at all. I mean, all what is happening in the minority caucus today is the doing of the former president Akufo-Addo.
How is that?
Because these are his proteges, right? These are people that we call the Nanes People's Party, not the true MPP.
Nanes People's Party?
Yes, not the true MPP.
Why is that?
Because I heard the minority leader make remarks on ensuring accountability and protecting the rule of law. And indeed, he said what? Judicial independence.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you ask yourself, didn't we see a political interference in the works of the judiciary under their tenure? And all indicators and indices have reported to such. If you look at the Mo Ibrahim Governance Index, judiciary autonomy declined by 50%. If you look at the Afrobarometer report and their respondents to a survey conducted by the Afrobarometer, over 86% of Ghanaians lost trust in the judiciary system under their regime. They packed pro-MPP people into the Supreme Court, into the High Courts, and even the Circuit Court. So indeed, they are having a taste of their own medicine. This is what they created, right? The previous 8 years, we know what they did. Today, they are tasting their own poison.
What exactly are they tasting? Are you saying that the courts have been packed with pro-NDC?
I'm not saying that.
Judges?
Well, now we can act as if politics has not infiltrated each and every fabric of the Ghanaian society and even our public administration. We can sit down here and act and lie and say all whimsical things about the situation, but it is what it is. That is why it is detrimental to our democracy at this very juncture, because the judiciary should what it is. And so we, as members of the United Party, are recommending and we are proposing that going forward in the new constitution that we want to run, Ghana ought to introduce a bicameral parliamentary system. Currently, we run a unicameral parliamentary system. And with this bicameral parliamentary system, we want to see non-state actors and non-political actors uphold these offices within the bicameral parliamentary system.
How does that work?
So I'll give you an example. Within this second chamber, right, we want the trade unions to man it. We want the media, the representatives of the media to man it. We want the representatives of PWDs to man it. We want our faith-based organizations, reps, to man it. The pastors, the people that believe in our traditional belief, African traditional religion, and then our Muslim faith as well, would also have their representatives in there. Then we have our traditional authorities, Nananum, would also have representation in there. And they would have the powers to appoint heads of independent constitutional bodies so that it would not be the sole prerogative of the executive. Because we've seen over the years, under the ages of our 1992 constitution, that political actors from both political parties, MPP, NDC, have always tried to look at politics first, right, in the appointment of such persons. And that is why today, I can say without any iota of doubt that I can see some light at the end of the tunnel.
Today?
Because, yes, because I sit down here as somebody who has tested the leadership of Justice Paul Bafo-Boni.
You have tasted his leadership?
I have tested.
Tested?
Yes.
How did you do that?
Great. I have here a letter from the Judicial Service.
Okay.
Now, earlier this year, I petitioned this office over a serious, grave violation of my rights on a case in court. But you have to. Now, a judiciary staff in a court in Nsawam tried to, manipulate one way or the other the processes. And you know that it is against the code of conduct of the judiciary staff. They have a code of conduct they need to follow religiously. I petitioned this office from the front door. And I want the people of Ghana to understand this. From the front door, I petitioned this office. I had not lobbied Bafo-Boni, Justice Bafo-Boni. I had not called him, nothing of that sort. I have no personal relationship with him. I received a response on the 15th of May, 2025, with an action taken. This is what leadership is about. This is what leadership is about. On this year, I petitioned the office of the IGP on a matter that also infringed on my rights as a citizen. And indeed, the leadership skill of Justice Bafo-Boni and that of COP Onu is like comparing day and night. I dare say so this morning. That is why I'm even calling on the president to expedite the processes of looking for an alternative to man the office of the IGP, because we are not safe as Ghanaians.
Looking for an alternative to man the office of the IGP?
Of course. I have no trust in COP Onu. He is not competent to uphold that office.
What is the basis of this statement?
Now, if your rights as a citizen is being infringed on so many times, you petition his office to take action and you do not get any response, what does that mean? Justice delayed is what? Justice what? Denied. He has denied me of my rights. He has denied me of justice. I had petitioned same to the office of the acting Chief Justice at that time.
Let me ask
and
you
let's
a question.
compare. Yes.
You are petitioning the office of the Chief Justice.
Yes.
Because your personal rights have been infringed upon.
Exactly. I use the same modus operandi.
Why don't you go to court? I mean, why don't you go to Ghana Police Service? Why are you petitioning the IGP? Because surely he cannot be able to attend to all citizens who petition his office individually.
That is not
because
true.
their personal rights have been infringed
That is not
upon.
true. That is not true. The office is the office of the Inspector General
Did you
of
go
Police
to
of Ghana.
Go to the Ghana Police Service in your neighborhood?
Did I go to? Yes, I went through all the processes. And of course, you have to petition the IGP on this matter. You have to petition him, and he will refer the matter to PIPS for investigation. That is how the process works.
I see.
But this IGP failed to do that because I think that the officers who acted in such contumacious manner are under his direct leadership. They work under his office, and so he is protecting them. But I am going to say that I am a masochist.
A what?
A masochist. That you cannot mess with me in a manner in which you think you'll get away with it. I am a fighter, and I believe in the rule of law. And that what ASP Samuel Nanabofo did to me and my God is something that I will never forget. And so far as I live, I will seek for justice. And indeed, you should remember, karma is real.
All right, Ramsey. I'm going to come back to you in a moment, but we've been joined on Zoom by one of our guests, legal practitioner, private legal practitioner, well-respected lawyer, responsible for some of the major landmark decisions in our courts. Lawyer Martin Pebu has just joined us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It's great to have you joining us all the way from the United States, I believe. What time is it there?
It's about 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
5 minutes past 2. Yeah.
Wow. Well, we are grateful that you woke up at 2 a.m. to join us to enrich this morning's conversation. Let's just get straight to it. I mean, yesterday, I'm sure you watched all of it or some of the vetting of the acting Chief Justice. The Chief Justice nominee, Justice Bafuboni. The minority staged a walkout, and they, among other things, say that they left because some constitutional breaches have been occasioned by going ahead to vet this Chief Justice. What's your assessment of that statement, and do you agree with their legal basis for walking out?
Not really. I don't think as you're saying, do I agree with the basis? Yes, I don't agree at all because I think following what happened, they should have, continued, because if they had continued in the workings or in the work the appointment committee was scheduled to do, they would have enriched let me call it a debate, because their questions would have brought diversity. Their questions would have explored other angles. Their questions would have brought more out of the Chief Justice, you see it. So to say, because they were not allowed to say Tokonu was removed unfairly and the rest, they would not participate. For now, I don't think that's enough. Because there was a statement Mahama Yarga made, majority leader. He said, look, they are allowed, after this appointment committee sitting or after this vetting, to go out there and hold a press conference and say all the things that they wanted to say. Saying that Tokonu's removal is unfair, is illegal, is a travesty of justice. Those things they wanted to say. They're just saying that don't say them right here as part of the vetting process, because when you do, they infringe certain parts of the standing orders. But you are free to go and organize a press conference. And the minority had organized a number of press conferences where they had made these statements. So their point has been well made. So, well, I stand to be corrected, but I'm still struggling to see what extra points it would have made that they would use the vetting committee sitting or use the vetting itself as another opportunity to repeat all of those. If it were that, there is no other opportunity to say those things, or even before the vetting, they had never had a chance to say those things, then you would understand why they would want to say those things at the vetting. It's like, this is my first and last opportunity. If it were the first and last opportunity, then I would understand. But this is not the case. They've made their points several times. They've had a number of press conferences. Come on. They've even had demonstrations, right? Yes, there was even a demonstration. All those things, right? So I think they should have stayed. They should have stayed because, yeah.
Okay, they should have stayed. Do you think that, well, are there any implications of this walkout on the independence of the judiciary? Because, and one of the comments that was made is the fact that this vetting, or the vetting that took place, the way it took place without the presence of the minority side has implications on the independence of the judiciary. Do you agree?
Let me see. On the face of it, it's difficult to see how that... Okay, so, well, this is what you say. There may be something in terms of the optics, yes. So it's just the optics, but not substantially. So that's procedural. In terms of procedure, it means that the Chief Justice comes into office with the tag that, well, the minority didn't support his appointment. Yes, so that's it. So it's only in terms of optics. Like, if you read history is written tomorrow, they say, oh, the minority walked out because they thought the situation was so bad. That's it. But in terms of the substantive performance of his office, no, not that I can think of now. So what the Chief Justice has to do is that it means that this serves as an impetus for him to perform far better than he himself has even thought about, or committed himself to do. Because you see, it's like you have to do so well that the opponents will be ashamed. Yeah, I'm going to perform so well to shame you. You know, like if you want to see the real meaning of what I'm saying, if you brought it into tree, then you see what I'm trying to say. Mayor Amawaferi, you know, I would do it so well that you'll be ashamed. Mayor Amawaferi, or other forms of putting it. So, yes, in terms of the optics, yes, it doesn't look good at all, because usually when the office holder gets a bipartisan approval, it helps our democracy. It makes our democracy looks good, because then it doesn't make the candidate look so partisan, so to speak. So that I remember when it came to Tokonu like this, yeah, they had to go out and talk to NDC people. They even had to go and see JM, so that President Mahama at the time had to also tell them to go ahead, that's tell the parliamentarians to support Justice Tokonu's nomination, etc. So at the end of the day, yes, on record it will show that NDC agreed, okay, they supported her nomination and appointment, right? So if Bafuboni had it, it would look good for the optics and psychologically. But as I've said, procedure is not the end of life. No, it's not the end. Let's go to the substance. So that's where you see, they will say substance over form. Yeah, so the form doesn't look good, but thankfully, Bafuboni has the opportunity to perform so well in the substance that it can overshadow the form. Yes, because, you know, okay, so when NDC supported Tokonu's appointment, how many, two and a half years down the line or so, yeah, now it's been withdrawn, she's been thrown out. So you see that the fact that you are even supported in coming to office is not, or it's no guarantee of anything. Yes, so let's focus on the substance. So Bafuboni, I'm sure, will be focusing on the substance and knowing that he has to perform so well that the minority will regret for not supporting his nomination and appointment.
All right. Now, even though you don't agree with the minority's walkout, if you could offer any advice, do they have any legal recourse to take because they are of their registered displeasure, in fact, rejection of the Chief Justice nominee, and the fact that the vetting still took place? Do they have any legal recourse? What can they do at this point?
Okay, so now going to the substance of their rejection, as from what I followed, they mentioned that there were pending suits. There were pending suits in the court, so they wish that the pending suits be resolved, that's be determined. The courts should finish. When the courts are done, then the vetting can go on. So since that is the pith of their grievance, it means that they would have to go support the litigants in those cases. There's a Vincent Asefua case, there's Chief Justice Tokonu herself, ex-Chief Justice, her own case. There's also the one by Kwabna Bonfe Kabila, right? Yeah, so then since they very much believe in the substance, the merits of those cases, then their recourse would be to go support so that the Chief Justice would, well, it's not actually the Chief Justice, they should go support for the cases to be heard quickly, because you have to take steps, asking for the Chief Justice to empanel and the rest. The cases are at different stages. Different things have to be done. That's why I'm not putting the burden on the Chief Justice. Let's just say that they should take all the procedural steps that have to be taken so that the cases can be heard. And then once they believe in those cases, we'll see how it goes with the final decision of the court.
All right. Before we let you go, Martin Pebu, you listened to the Chief Justice nominee and some of the suggestions or plans that he has for judicial reform, for the, better running of the judiciary. What are your general comments on some of the suggestions he made? Using AI to empanel judges and the swift justice delivery system that he hopes to be able to bring to bear.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was forward-looking, extremely forward-looking. It's good you've started with the AI. So, yes, I think it's good. The reason I say it's good is that, years ago, the Americans adopted this AI in their various systems. They use it for bail, even in making decisions on bail. You go to court, and then the decision as to whether the accused will get bail or not is made by AI.
That's interesting. Exactly how does that work? I mean, this is
yes. So let's say, okay, no, now doesn't want a bad example. So let's use X. So X has a certain profile, maybe 25 years old. It's in the case of murder, but X works for this and this company, well paid. He's not had any previous offense, those things. So the data, he has a wife and children, all those things, they are fed into the system, is the algorithm, that's the app. And so the app will look at everything and then come up with a decision that, yes, this one, grant him bail. This one, don't grant him. Yeah. So it's been pre-programmed. Okay. So if bail decisions, the AI is being used, and they've done it for some years now. It didn't start just last year or 3 years ago. No. If you Google it, you will see. We will be able to read a lot more of it. So it's been around for some time. So if Justice Bafubode, not that if, since he said that he wants, he agrees that we should use it in empaneling judges. Yes, let's try it, because we have to keep trying. We cannot keep saying that, we are a developing country, so we don't have resources. No. Justice is very, very important. You see, justice helps to keep the society together, where people live in a society and they don't feel that they're getting justice in their courts and the rest. And with time, they will resort to anarchy. You see, earlier on, my colleague panelists referred to the Mo Ibrahim Index and the way trust in the judiciary has plummeted, etc. Right? So we need to do everything. And Justice Bafuboni says he will be leading the charges to restore confidence. So AI is welcome. 24-hour court system is welcome. And did you hear him make a joke that the NDC took a leaf from the books of the judiciary when it comes to the 24-hour economy?
Because of the 16-hour courts.
And all that. So, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting because he has 1 year to go. I'm sure he will be doing everything to make an impact. Yes, and we should support him.
Okay.
And as part of that, if I may, I still have about 10 minutes, unless, 20 or 30. So if you want to go
so
and come.
If you can stay with us, then we'll come back to you. I thought you had to go. That's why we stayed.
Yes, but we've made changes.
All right, so we'll come back to you. But we've been joined in the studio by Dr. Josiah Kobab, former lecturer with Gimba, private legal practitioner, one of our very esteemed panelists on our Tuesday edition of Big Issues. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Great to have you as always. Thank you for joining us. Also joining us in the studio is another lawyer, legal brain, private legal practitioner, member of the NDC legal team, Mr. Victor Kojoga Adawudu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome. Great to have you.
It's a pleasure being on the platform.
Awesome. I'll take your initial reactions to what happened yesterday during the vetting, Dr. Koba.
Yeah. Yesterday I watched with disgust.
Oh, okay.
I was very, very annoyed at the end of the day.
At the end of the 8-hour day or before the vetting itself began?
To bed, I was
all right.
kind of processing what happened during the day. And I was very upset. As a senior citizen, I said, what's going on in this country? My understanding of this as a lawyer is that the minority wants the former Chief Justice to exhaust all her legal options before we talk about a new Chief Justice. And I guess the basis is that because there are these cases in court, the cases should operate to stay whatever we are doing until the cases are determined.
Yes.
But, listen, I think it is settled law. I think my learned friend here would, it's settled law in our jurisdiction that a case in court, an application for injunction or the filing of a writ in our jurisdiction does not operate to stop a constitutional body from performing its functions. That is settled law. And so, when I see lawyers who happen to be MPs ignoring what is settled law, I think there's a motive that we need to ascertain. I wasn't happy at all yesterday. I wasn't happy at all yesterday.
Okay.
Now, furthermore, these are the same people that some time ago vandalized state property, broke microphones and overturned tables. The same group of people. Why? Is being a member of parliament licensed to disrespect us, the people of Ghana, the citizens who voted for you to go there? So I was very upset. I'm still very upset. I think something is wrong you know, I feel sorry for Speaker Babin. It's a big task. I just can't imagine that this happened yesterday. What is it that the minority leader wanted to say that he hasn't said already? Or that he would not have the opportunity to say going forward? Why do you have to mar and disturb a very serious state function, vetting an incoming Chief Justice? You just messed it up. Why? The Parliament is not a theater for movie actors who want to have their day on stage. It is not. This is serious state business. And I think that it's about time we, the citizens, held people like Honorable Afenyo Makin, who held him to account. This should stop.
Is a challenge with the boycotting and the walkout, or with the points they advanced about the vetting of the Chief Justice nominee? Because they put forward some challenges. They say some constitutional, there have been constitutional breaches, that the appointment or the vetting of this Chief Justice really puts the independence of the judiciary into disrepute.
Yes, those are all legitimate issues to raise. But as I said, having these matters in court, in our jurisdiction, does not stop government business, state business from going on. And they know that. The minority leader is a lawyer. He knows that. And I think, for me, it's just one too many times. You know, this theater, this drama must stop.
Macbeth.
Parliament is serious business. And some of us are getting tired. I am really upset.
All right, let me come to Victor. Victor, you also, I'm sure you also watched the entire process. What are your initial comments on it?
Well, my initial comments are that at least it brought out the deep insight of the Chief Justice nominee, his deep knowledge of the judiciary, his experience on the bench, and committees he has chaired. So it tells you that he has knowledge and what has to be done within the judiciary, the reforms. And you could see that he's somebody that is not about shouting. He speaks slowly, but he's deep. What he says, what he knows about the judiciary, his experience on the bench. And I think that the forward-looking reforms that he wants to make, that he can also leave a legacy leading the judiciary. For me, it is one takeaway that I had to take. Okay. And also the other thing, which maybe people may not think it is so essential, but for me, it is something that we take a moral lesson out of it when he said that he had to quit his job for the sake of his wife. For the love. Not only because it is love, it is because he feels that he can sacrifice for somebody. He stood for somebody. It is a lesson that has gone through all of us, especially the young ones, that it is not always about you, but it is to sacrifice for other people, for them to be able to achieve their dreams. And that sacrifice, I'm sure, has paid off. Today, she's the Director General of Prisons. From where she started, and somebody had to be there for you, you climb on the person's shoulder to get to where you are. For me, it's a lesson that all of us, that it is not always about me or what is in need for me. That was one of the lessons. The other thing I also takeaway is that it is not, you can always make your point. You can make your points without invectives. You can make your points without raising your voice. You'll be heard. And the interruptions that we saw yesterday was like the majority leader was of the deep conviction, or the majority side, that maybe some of the things that are being spewed by the minority, especially the leader, his choice of words, they were going to make sure that he operates within the confines and the principles of parliamentary rules. That is what we saw. So for me, it tells me that it's not always that, you know, your choice of language in making a point should always be key, because people were looking.
You don't think he used good language?
No, I think some of the languages that he was using, because the people were not there to be heard. They were not before Parliament when he made some of those allegations or some of the things he was saying. And they were saying that, no, go within the confines and the principles of parliamentary, the standing orders and the rules. So those are the takeaways that I think as a society we should look at. And we should imbibe in ourselves and say that no more. The last one maybe is that the way Parliament, we saw what happened in the 8th Parliament, happening in the 9th Parliament, I think it's becoming a blot on for Parliament, that any time when it starts like this, then it ends up in fisticuffs. And whilst it ends up in fisticuffs, nobody is being punished or surcharged for that. And for me, if this continues, you know, it lays down the grounds for some military intervention.
Military intervention?
I'm telling you, no. You see, what it is going on.
If what continues?
The way in Parliament, let me recount in the 8th Parliament, you saw military entering the chambers. You saw the military, and you've seen during the vetting also, you saw the fisticuffs, right? You saw the challenges between, and you see now, the military intervention is not like it used to be when people are killed. Now they are endearing themselves. Example is just nearby Burkina Faso. Everybody says Traore, Ibrahim Traore. They are happy with what he's doing. They are happy with what Niger they are doing, right? Because people feel that they are losing interest in the political elites. Democracy. They are losing interest in democracy. And if they see some of these things going on, they say, these people really, do they think about us? Are they there to pursue the agenda for the benefit of us as society? And once they compare it with people who have come, Traore and the rest, and the society is hailing them, do you think people would not also want to experiment that? You know, so for me, Parliament is such an august body that rules work there. If the top is behaving that way, how do you advise the younger ones that don't go for mob justice, don't do violence, will not solve the problem that we have to judge of? For me, the walkout and the rest is a parliamentary tool. It is their right. They have to exercise it anytime they determine they want to exercise it. It's their right. I don't have any qualms with that. But it's not what you preach that the people will emulate. People will emulate what you do. Definitely. So if your sons, sometimes we sit down, and even my son was watching yesterday, say, Daddy, these people, why are they arguing like this, right? And these are things that society is learning. And I think that Parliament itself should sit down and see that some of the things they are doing is becoming a blot on their conscience. Right. And they would always judge all.
But you generally have no problem with their exercising their rights to walk out or boycott?
No, at all. It's a parliamentary tool.
All right, now let me come back to you, Ramsey. Now, let's talk about this standing controversy and what happened yesterday. Do you think that it might have any long-term effect on the perception of the neutrality of the judiciary if Bafo-Boni is confirmed?
Well, for Bafo-Boni, I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. I have been able to test his leadership skills. That is why I compared his leadership skills to that of the current IGP. And I said, it's just like day and night. And so I have absolute confidence in Bafo-Boni, Justice Bafo-Boni. And I want each and everybody, young, old, woman, girl, whatever, whoever you are in this society, no matter your status, that we should all rally behind Bafo-Boni, because I have absolute trust in him that he is going to deliver. He is going to indeed ensure that the judiciary gets back on its foot and enlighten the darkness that has been created by the previous administration in the judiciary. Because I cited a lot of research reports on our judiciary. If you look at the Mo Ibrahim Governance Index, judiciary autonomy declined by 50% under the SY administration. Our people lost trust in democracy. It declined significantly under the SY administration because the judiciary was influenced and was infiltrated by political actors. But we are going to see a different thing altogether, because I have trust in Bafo-Boni, and I'm indeed going to be his lead campaigner to ensure that he succeeds. Now, Justice Bafo-Boni indeed will go. It's sad that he has only 1 year.
Yeah.
I feel so sad that he has only 1 year.
And that's one of the issues that the people who are not entirely in favor have raised, that what real difference would he be able to make in the time that he has left before he retires?
What Tokono did in her short stay as Chief Justice can be overturned by a competent, virtuous, righteous Chief Justice within a day. And this is what leadership is about. Let us not take his merits for granted. Okay. Indeed, the minority is going about singing all kinds of rhetorics. This honorable justice, was appointed by the former president, John Ajekun Kufuor, who was then the president of the Republic of Ghana from the year 2001 to 2009, under the ticket of the MPP. Indeed, what Afenyo Makin has done has really hurt Kufuor this morning. I can tell you, because President Kufuor believed in Bafo-Boni. That is why he appointed him to the apex court of our land. So what is Afenyo Makin telling? And that's why I keep on referring you to Nanes People's Party, that look at them. Look at the way they act. My learned colleague talked about issues during the vetting in Parliament, where there was a fist fight and all that, and tables were being overturned. This is not what we are used to when we talk about the MPP. I mean, look at the days of J.H. Mensah. Can you compare that to Afenyo Makin today?
Afenyo Makin, I don't think he has not questioned the competence of Justice Bafo-Boni. His issues have nothing to do with his competence and who appointed him and why he was appointed. His issues have got to do with the fact that, among other things, there are cases pending before the court.
A motion was taken to Parliament. The Speaker ruled over it. Indeed, it was even the Deputy Speaker and then the Speaker. You cannot bring back a matter that has been adjudicated on back to a committee meeting.
Okay.
That is acting in ultra vires to the standing orders of Parliament. You can't do that. And is he saying that President Mohammed's constitutional right should be stampeded because a case is in court? No laws in this country is greater than the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. This is the apical law of our land. And so if the president is exercising his rights in appointing a Chief Justice, he has the right to do so. And he talked about the procedure removing Justice Tokono. Article 146 of the 1992 Constitution is clear. There was no procedural breach. It was done, taken into consideration Odi ultra partum, the principle of natural justice, that a fair hearing should be granted to whichever person who has been accused. And that was what happened. A committee was set. They determined a prima facie case against her. The president, in consultation with the Council of State, acted according to the Constitution.
Yes, and
what
the
was
person
wrong?
in the middle of it, Justice Tokonu, had concerns about the way the hearing took place. She had questions about fairness, about how she was handled.
There was nothing. It is pure political gimmick by Justice Tokonu. If indeed she had concern about whatever that was going on, she indeed is a legal brain. She should have conducted herself in a manner in which all these things will not happen to her. She knows the laws of this country. Indeed, she has told us that the law is the law. So tell me now, this morning, where in our laws in this country that her rights has been breached? That the president acted in ultra. Look, it is all. Can she prove it? Why is it that the courts have all thrown her cases out? The courts have thrown the cases out, and I'm sure that the ECOWAS court is going to do just to this matter and throw the case out.
All right.
Look, we are serious as a country. We want to build a formidable judiciary.
Doc,
we need competent people to man the judiciary.
Doc, I'm going to come back to you.
Not people that would man it for selfish gains.
Let's just go to Martin Pebu, who might have to leave us soon.
Answer to
short one.
1 year.
Short one.
The 1 year, you're saying that he has 1 year. You see, there's precedent. There was a justice who was appointed by President Kufuor. And at the time, Nana Akufo-Addo, his former president, was the Attorney General. That was Professor Kludze. Professor Kludze had less than 1 year at the Supreme Court, but his impact cuts through and is still alive today. Although he's no more, that rule, where he made the principle that customary law knows no writing. The law had been that if you have land, and every time the proof should be an indenture that you have a document. And he came and said that has been there. And in the cases of Amuzu versus Oklika and Brown and Koshiga, he made that landmark decision. It's the Supreme Court, but he was the lead. And said that, no, the fact that I don't have documents covering my land does not mean that if it was given to me customarily, and Dr. Ramsey knows, the family knows that this is my land. Doc also knows this is my land, and maybe now goes to bring a document and say it is a land. No, if there is a proof from the two, customarily that I have been on this land and it is for me, that has been the principle till date, right? So the case of being 1 year and others, he can make that impact. And this is the precedent I want people to know. That it doesn't matter about if the person is competent, the person has the idea, the impact he can make. Klude is gone. But Modibo, Okran, and all them, they are gone. But they still rule us from their grave.
All right. Thank you for that addition. Let's go back to Martin Pebu, who's still with us on Zoom. Martin Pebu, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
I'd like a comment on the perception of judicial neutrality if Justice Bafuboni is appointed, given all that has happened and the abstinence of the minority in participating in the vetting process.
Well, in terms of neutrality, Bafuboni's appointment, it's good. It's good because he cuts the neutral, or he ticks the neutral box. Because, Bafuboni was originally appointed, Ghana, one of the yardsticks we use is who appointed the judge. So he was appointed to the High Court in the year 2000 by the Rawlings administration. He said he was sworn in by Professor Mills. Then 2006 was appointed to the Court of Appeal by President Kufuor. Then 2008, the same President Kufuor took him to the Supreme Court. So in terms of ideology, we're doing the paper analysis, so things we can verify as to the real things in his head, and those says you would leave for another day. But in terms of the optics and what the appointment signal, because to go to the Supreme Court is no joke. If a president doesn't trust that you believe in his ideology, etc., you won't make it to the Supreme Court. Remember that now with over 34 million citizens, the Supreme Court doesn't have more than 17 judges. So you see that to go in and a lawyer population of over 7,000, okay? So to go in 17 judges out of over 7,000 lawyers is extremely competitive. So the point I'm making is that his rise to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court, where under President Kufuor, who was president in on the ticket of the MPP. So it means that he subscribes. That's what it's supposed to mean. I mean, presidents don't toy with Supreme Court appointments. You just go and take this person. Oh, yes, just bring him. No, they do thorough checks, thorough checks. Does this guy reason like we do? Does he subscribe to property owning democracy, fundamental human rights, all those things? Can we trust him? Or if you like, in simple language, do we like him enough? Of course. So for him to have gone up there on the MPP's ticket, so to speak, and now 18 years on,
17
it's
years.
the NDC administration that's making him Chief Justice. It tells you that they also trust in him. It's a huge boost for our democracy that a Supreme Court judge who made it to the Supreme Court on the ticket of the MPP, the NDC too have seen something good in him, and they say can be Chief Justice over us. And so you would see that going back, you see that Bafuboni has exercised that independence of thought. You know, at his vetting, the point was raised, and Dafiamepo was the first to raise it, that is Bafuboni. To paraphrase, you've been given this position because in the election 2012 petition, you voted for President Mahama. That's why you got this position. You know, Dafiamepo was teasing him. And he looked at it and said, no, I don't think so. Rather, what it means is that it shows my quality. I mean, just paraphrasing the answers. It shows that he's good enough for the job. Because, you know, prior to the decision coming out, people just thought that, oh, Bafuboni is a Kufuor appointee. This is a Kufuor appointee. So automatically, his decision, or let's call it his vote, will go in favor of a Kufuor. I remember people saying so, that, oh, Bafuboni, it's Kufuor who appointed him. And a Kufuor appointee, automatically, the Kufuor will win this case. I remember those days, I told some lawyers that, no, not specifically on Bafuboni, but I told them that, no, this case, just saying these are Kufuor appointees, and so Kufuor appointees who vote for Kufuor is too simplistic. This one is too easy for the judges to just say we are Kufuor appointees, so a Kufuor should win. The matter was just too easy. It was too easy for me. And truly, Bafuboni voted against Kufuor on the crucial thing about the presiding officers not having signed the pink sheet. You know, each polling station, there are some of the presiding officers who didn't sign. And so Kufuor's argument was that all those polling stations, their elections be annulled so that they will go and rerun. But if you look at elections jurisprudence when it comes to court cases, no. Once it's clear, the sovereign, the people of Ghana have expressed their will in voting, and there's no problem with how the person voted, but rather it's a signature that's not being used to authenticate it. Once all the other evidence shows that, oh, the votes are genuine, you don't use administrative failings, administrative breaches to annul somebody's vote. So I wasn't surprised when Bafuboni said, look, I'm not going to annul these votes. I'm not going to annul. Look, the people went to vote, and from everything I see, these are genuine votes. The votes will stand. So the key thing I'm saying is that, so you would see that having reached the Supreme Court on the ticket of the MPP and having exercised that independence of thought, that independence of mind, that integrity, is something that would walk miles ahead of him. And that's how come from 2013. You see, in 2025, when we needed a Chief Justice, you see that integrity he exercised in 2013, so more than 10 years ago, so roughly about 12 years ago. You see, it has paid off. So for me, I mean, for a lot of us, we think that independence he exercised in that decision was quite pivotal, was quite instrumental in their decision to appoint him, because he's shown that, look, I'm not just a party zealot. I'm not here to vote for MPP because MPP brought me here. I look at the law and what I understand it, what my conscience, what integrity tells me is what I'll do. Yeah.
Okay, interesting analysis there. I think you've answered most of the questions on my mind on this matter. But you said you had 20 minutes to go, and that was about 17 minutes ago. So I'm just going to ask you one last question and then let you go if you must. You commented earlier about some of the reforms that Justice Bafuboni intends to implement should he be confirmed. And we mentioned the 24-hour courts. Exactly how feasible is it to run our courts or some courts 24 hours? How do you see it playing out in your mind? Will the courts be open
That's
at
interesting.
night?
I like that. You want to see the picture. So this is how it works. I'll give you the practical example. As far as I'm aware, in Singapore, okay, the courts sit. It's not every category of cases, but why not? The courts sit. They start sitting at 6 p.m. and some close 9 p.m., 10 p.m. You say, yes, I was in Singapore. When was that? About 7 years ago. Yeah, so we went to the courts where we were shown that, yes, this particular court, there is a night session. So they start in the evening at 6 p.m. and then go on, right? So that is where the idea that, or even if not the idea, so there's a place where I have seen it and then we say, okay, that's how it runs, right? So you find the court sitting late into the night. Let me give you another example. You see in the UK, over a decade ago when the riots happened, yeah, they did 24 hours. Yes. We're sitting morning, day, night.
So in the middle of the night, the judges will be in court sitting.
Yeah, people.
Lawyers would come to court. Is that feasible?
So no. So your question. So now let's answer this. When they say 24, it's not for every case. It's for emergency. Okay. Maybe we should mention this. It's emergency, and there are a lot of emergency cases we have that immediately you don't have to be waiting till 24 hours. No. And let's also make the point. So when we say emergency, it's not so emergency means it's restricted category. But the bigger picture where we should be looking at is that 6 p.m., right, the court is sitting. The current one, the one Chief Justice Tokono brought, they don't sit 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m. No, they are dental court and the rest. No, I'm not aware that they sit up to 10 p.m. But with the 24-hour court, it will be standard to work up to 10 p.m., right? Yes, maybe 11. So let's get that distinction. And the rest of the time is used for other administrative things. So let me show you. Somebody can be granted bail at 6, or let's say the court is done at, let's say, 7 p.m. The court has finished sitting, but it doesn't mean everything has come to an end. If it's important, the person who has been granted bail, maybe that night he needs to travel. His mother's funeral is Saturday morning. Yes, you have to do the order everything 9, 10, 11 p.m. so that they sign it. And then the police, there will be special procedure so that he'll be let go. He has to attend his mother's funeral the next morning. If the judge is granted him bail, why should the secretary, the typist, go to bed and come back the next day to come and start typing when the man needs to start traveling the night to go to his mother's funeral? So they will do all that. So it's key, trust me. We will do it and it will be marvelous.
All right.
Yeah, you change the mindset.
All right. Thank you so much, Martin Pebu. We appreciate your time this morning, joining us all the way from the U.S. at 2 a.m. We're grateful for your time. Back in studio, Dr. Kawara, before I went to Martin Pebu, Dr. Ramsey was saying something. You wanted to interject, but I didn't let you.
I've heard about this issue of judicial independence. That what is happening now that the independence of the judiciary is under threat. My question is, when did we realize this? Did we have independence under Chief Justice Tokuno? What is going on? Look, when she got into trouble, where did she go for counsel? My own question, just the optics. If you're a Chief Justice and you have a case in court, there are a lot of lawyers, good, neutral lawyers in this country. Where did she go for counsel? And then now we have to listen to sermons about judicial independence. Where did this come from?
You had problems with her representation?
No, she's entitled to any. I'm just saying that just as an observer.
Optics.
Yeah, as a lawyer, I know there are a lot of good lawyers in town. And if I was a former Chief Justice embroiled in this kind of dispute, and I have to go and get a lawyer, I don't know where she gets her advice from. But those people who are talking, making so much noise about all this noise about judicial independence, my question is, did we have it under Tokuno?
Okay.
You know now,
Victor,
let me just make this open confession. When Justice Tokuno was appointed to the High Court, that was the time we also started practice. Martin's my mate, right? She was one of my mentors.
at the commercial court?
Oh yes, at the commercial court, through to where she's gotten to. So sometimes it's a bit difficult coming over to profess some judgment over her. That's why I have stayed clear not to really. But you see, it is the process of the law. She has a choice. And that is the choice she preferred to exercise, right? But the optics of it, every lawyer has sworn to defend anybody, right? Provided your services are needed. But sometimes it becomes difficult, maybe when people start pigeonholing you where you belong and others. But I think that it is something we need to look at. Yes, for people's perception. Perception is something that is very, it's real. Because people have some perception, like when you take somebody to General Legal Counsel, the disciplinary committee, the complainant even going has a perception that the people sitting there are all lawyers. And I'm taking another lawyer there. So am I going to get the justice or not? But you see, you'll be surprised you go there when the judges and the lawyers are reprimanding their own colleague. You'll be surprised. You know, so some of these things are technical, very difficult. But I think that what should stand out is that as a lawyer, you have taken an oath to render services to anybody who needs your service. And the flip side of it is that as a lawyer, I can also decide who I want to represent and not to represent, right? Nobody's going to force me and say, oh, you have to represent this person. Even sometimes the judges will make a request that, oh, represent this person. If you think you give him and say for personal reasons, I won't do A, B, C, D, right? So if we continue to sometimes trying to pigeonhole lawyers who the case it takes not to take, we will become endangered species. How many are we? That means that we will have NDC lawyers for this group, NPP lawyers. I think that it's a phenomenon that if we try to push that, it will come to heads. Because you are there. And I always say that every case that goes to court, if you are the Attorney General, the facts you have, the evidence you have, is what will give you conviction or not, right? There's no way a lawyer can change when the evidence is compelling. You can't change the facts. You can't change the evidence. All you can do is maybe look at the way you can use some technical or other techniques within the law, which is permissible, to be able to find an escape route or minimize the damages that your clients may go through. For me, that's the bottom line of the case. So we should be. It's just unfortunate that in Justice Tokono's case, I believe that from my personal view, I believe that there were some advices, maybe, but she is the best person. Lawyers will advise, but it is the client who takes the decision and says, this is what I want. So that it doesn't become like, oh, now lawyer no say anything say. Lawyer, or it was the lawyer who said, let me do this one.
She was free to make her decisions.
Definitely, because yes, because your decision is the final decision.
And being the Chief Justice and from where she sat and all the experience she has, I mean, Dr. Kobo has asked some questions, but from where she sat as Chief Justice, I'm sure with all the experience and knowledge she has, she must have had some very good reasons for going with the counsel that she decided to go with. But on the question of optics, I think both Dr. Koba and Victor, you've mentioned the way the thing looks and the power of perception.
The power of perception.
What do you say to people who are asking questions about the justices who were present at the vetting to support Justice Bafoboni and those who were absent? So some of the justices who were not absent, there have been some conversations about, well, this justice was appointed by Akufo-Addo, they were not present. This justice was appointed by XYZ, they were not present. Do those things matter at all?
No, you see, what happens, people don't understand is that whilst the system is moving, you have to go with the system. The Supreme Court, before they even come with a judgment, they go for conference. What is your opinion? What is your view? What is your view? And they synthesize, put it together and say, let one person write it. You see, my good friend and senior brother, Justice Gaiwu, he was appointed by the previous regime. He was there, right? It is different from the perception we have that when they go there, there is some seemingly misunderstanding or tension between them. No. The moment they get in as Supreme Court, I'm telling you, right, they are one. And the fact that the former Chief Justice has been our colleague, she has an issue, doesn't mean that the system should not work. No. That's not how it works. So far as it is about the administrative head, who is also the Chief Justice, who is going to take the tenure of office, the system all goes along with the people. If some people were not there, I was supposed to have been there yesterday because they invited me to come. But because of one or two assignments, I couldn't go. And I know there are some assignments for other of the Supreme Court judges. I think the results, they are working on it to come very soon. So maybe because of some assignments, they may not have been able to go. And you see, you may not see some of them because yesterday, it's a small space. I'm sure, I know people who went, but you can go and take a seat when there is a Supreme Court judge who has come and has no seat. So, and there are some few people, prominent people who were there. So, if people say that this man was not there because he's against the nominee, I don't think that is how it works. It's the power of perception. And I'm telling you that when you go there, they may even be your friend. Look, you have a case who you think that this judge will be against me, that one will be for you. The one who is even your friend and you think will come, will rule against you. And after that, will come and tell you that, you see, you didn't do A, B, C, D. It's a learning curve. And that's how we've been trained to work together.
Okay.
And yesterday, I'm sure he also tried to tell you the kind of relationship he has with his colleagues.
Judges.
Some appeared before him when they were lawyers, when he was sitting at Circuit Court, sitting as High Court judge. Almost everybody appeared before him. So it is not just of recent things that had happened that would draw a wedge between them. No, they will base on their past relationship, their friendship, and even we go to court. Some of them, they mentor us. They will tell you, or even some of the judges will call you and say, I'm handling this matter. Do you have any case which is relevant, or you think, yes, we do it, all of us.
I see.
Or I can call some judge who is my friend and say, I'm handling this matter. When he's not handling it, I say, can you give me some direction or eliminate me on this matter, how I proceed? And that's how we all learn.
Okay.
Or call a senior and say, senior, this is my problem. Senior, how do I go about it?
So you all work hand in hand?
We work hand in hand. Right. Yes.
But, I think that the acting Chief Justice, his performance yesterday was just brilliant.
Oh, yes. It was deep.
It makes you proud that you're a lawyer. I mean, I said, this is it's brilliant. But you see, again, now, just look at the way Her Ladyship, Araba Tokono, spoke about her colleagues who were on the committee. Look at that. I mean, look at how she spoke about Justice Pullman. If you want to come to equity, come with clean hands. So let us just accept what has happened. The process 146 Constitution, Article 146 worked. Let's move on.
All right. I take those as your final words, Dr. Josiah and Victor. Let me come to Ramsey.
Let's move on. Yes. Yeah. Now, so I think, as Doc said, we have to move on. So we're looking into the future now.
Mm.
Now, we want to see a Ghana where tomorrow the executive would not have the mandate, the legal mandate, to appoint heads of independent constitutional bodies, like the Office of the CJ. We want to see a scrap of the Council of State under Article 89.
A scrap?
Yes. It's not living up to its mandate. I think that in place of the Council of State, we should adopt a bicameral parliamentary system and bring in a second chamber. This second chamber would not be made up of political actors and state actors. And this second chamber would have the legal mandate to appoint heads of independent constitutional bodies, so that tomorrow nobody is going to say, well, the executive is NDC, is UP or MPP, and therefore they have appointed such persons into this position. Therefore, this person is NDC or MPP.
And this second chamber cannot be politicized. You've said that we are political people as a country. It's difficult to say that this person is not a political person. How exactly are you going to come to this conclusion?
I mean, if you look at the interests, politics comes with interests. Mm-hmm. It's always a political, in this country, right? We allow politics to direct policies rather than vice versa. Do you understand what I'm saying? That politics directs or drives policies rather than policies shaping politics. I think that if we're able to bring about the second chamber, if you look at the actors I've mentioned, do you think that their interests will supersede that of the political interests?
Excuse me.
If you balance that of the trade union, you have the trade union there, you have PWDs there, you have faith-based organizations, you have gender-based organizations.
Political leanings,
they have
biases.
But indeed, their interests, if you put all these things together, their interests collectively supersedes that of the political interests.
You don't think that political interest directs interests of some of these organizations also? Because in the same organization where you believe that it should all have the same interests, there are divisions.
I agree. But again, I am saying that if you look at the amalgamation of people that we have posited this morning, that I have given out this morning, right? If we're able to put all these people together and have this mixture, it will be able to neutralize our political interests. Maybe you might not see, because Ghana is highly polarized due to the kind of partisan politics that we practice today. But I am telling you that in the future, if we give power to certain people, certain organizations like the labor unions have to be political because they want their needs to be met. Unfortunately, some traditional authorities, some chiefs have told me, they've told me behind closed doors that, look, if I don't align to A, B, C, D, or declare my support for A, B, C, D, which is against the constitution, I might not get something to even feed my people or to support development within my community, because I'm a chief and I have a lot of people that depend on me. That is the system of politics in Ghana today. And so if we are able to take out that power from the executive and give it to these independent bodies, I am telling you that it will be able to resolve a lot of these issues that we are dealing with. Well, put it to research and see what I'm talking about.
All right. I would like us to end this conversation now. The conversation on
constitutional review is going on. I'm sure I'll put a paper, position paper.
We have given that to them.
Okay.
Yes.
But quickly, I'd like us to comment on this. Today, we're expected to see the report on the helicopter crash, which unfortunately claimed the lives of 8 gallant Ghanaians who were on their way to a mission to help fight illegal mining, including 2 cabinet ministers. Now, we're expecting the report today at about 11:30, if I'm right. Now, some people have expressed concerns about the content of the report. We haven't seen it yet, but that it has happened. It should be private. It should remain with national security and let them do what they need to do to correct whatever might have happened, depending on the content of the report. Others think that, well, it's something that concerns all Ghanaians, and you know, it should be made public. It will be made public, though. What's your take on it?
Yes, there are some information that are classified, and there are, in every democratic society, our constitution makes it clear that where we need to have sufficient information as a democratic society, it ought to be done. And I'm happy, although it's an unfortunate situation that nobody will want that to happen again, a disaster that we pray never happens again in this country. Giving us some information would also bring peace to us. They will bring some disclosure in the sense that we will have known what actually caused it, if it was maintenance of the helicopter, things that we need to put in place so that we avert
any future occurrence.
I'm sure the ones that are very classified or information that are so sensitive, I'm sure the decision was taken at the National Security meeting. They will keep those ones and they will work with those ones. But what the public needs to consume, I'm sure that is the information that is going to be given to us.
All right.
And I think that they will bring some disclosure to the populace and know that these gallant men did not die in vain, for nothing. And at least it will shepherd us into the future, what we'll do going forward.
Dr. Josiah?
Well, I associate myself with what my colleague has said. Again, I think that the technical people will let us have what we need to have. We will be told what we need to know, and some things will remain classified. I think that we have a right to be told something. The reason is that these officials will continue to travel with the helicopter. And some of us are relatives who are government officials. And so at least to put our minds at rest, we need to know that everything that can go wrong has been looked at. And going forward, we can have a peace of mind.
Okay.
I don't subscribe to a point of view that we should be told everything. I mean, there are things that we shouldn't know, and it's properly considered using best practices. So be it.
Okay. Dr. Ramsey?
Well, let me use this occasion to send my condolences once more to the family of our 8 gallant heroes. It's quite sad what happened. Indeed, these men were moving to solve the menace of Galamsey, which is an existential threat to our survival as a nation. The fight against Galamsey still continues. The only thing we can do to give these people a befitting memory is to defeat the menace of Galamsey. This fight is a collective fight, it's a Ghanaian fight. It is not a partisan one. And so I'm calling on the presidency to champion that collective political effort to bring each and every political party and political actor on the table so that we can collectively fight Galamsey.
Right.
To the helicopter crash report, I concur with all what my learned colleagues have posted this morning. I believe that, yes, there are some information that should not be made public. It should be on a need-to-know basis. And I think that we are yearning to see what the report is going to look like. And so on this note, I would just hope that the report is clean, there's no foul play, and I hope that the Ghana Air Force will be re-equipped and will be revamped with modern helicopters and aircrafts, so that our soldiers and our VIP and government officials will be safe when they travel.
All right.
And indeed, not the 1976 helicopters that were bought by the previous administration.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ramsey. I'll read a couple of your messages before we wrap up this segment. Musa Abatwa Nasawasi says, kudos to President Mahama for nominating Justice Bafo Boni as Chief Justice, despite the unfortunate conduct of the micro-minority, clearly bent on obstructing the vetting process. Honorable Afonyo Makin will go down in history as the, Justice Bafo Boni's impeccable records. He gives hope that he will restore integrity and fairness to Ghana's justice system. My regards to the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah, and Stephen Peng in Wales sends a message. Stephen Peng, it's been a while since we heard from you. Great to hear from you today. Discerning Ghanaians will not bow to the caps and whims of Afonyo Makin and the NPP today or tomorrow. And the posturing of Afonyo Makin and his minority is becoming nauseating, to say the least. Ghanaians are waiting for the United Party as a viable opposition in the next parliament. Ghanaians want the CJ to be appointed quickly to get special courts and tribunals set to prosecute criminals. The current NPP is a dead elephant, and that's coming from Stephen Peng. Texting us from wide. A few more messages coming in. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to read them. Maybe I'll read one more. Now, the attitude of the noisy minority is simply nauseating. Just a few months ago, they were all over the place messing up the economy and speaking arrogantly to justify wrongs they had committed against the nation. Can't they see that Ghanaians are content and hopeful under the Mahama administration? And that is from Chris, texting us from Ashali Buche. Thank you so much, Chris, for sending your message in. And to all of you who sent messages that I could not read, you forgive me. All right. And thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. Yes. Yes.
Today, why is going to be Agog? The president is going there to cut the big push. While Chuchuliga is going to cut the sword this afternoon.
Amazing.
So,
I was in Wa about 3 weeks or a month ago. And that road,
I think last week they did the Wenchi Sola Bole to Wa.
That's good to
hear. So they are going to do this. So, Stephen, why is going to be Agog? Be there to see things for yourself.
Well, that's good news for the people of Wa in the Upper West region. Thank you so much, Victor Daudu, legal NDC team, and to Dr. Josiah Koba, former principal lecturer, GIMPA and legal practitioner, and Dr. Ramsey Inusa, who is a director of research, political research with the United Party. This has been Big Issues on TV3 Newday. If you haven't cashed out this morning, you want to do so, dial *439#, select option 2 for TV3, and win big. I've got 10,000 CDs to give to 10 of you, 1,000 CDs each. And so dial now, *439#, select option 2 for TV3, and win big. Now it's time to perk up your day. Perk up your day with milky, rich, smooth taste of milk shortcake from Perk. It's a pure delight. If you haven't tried Perk, you want to try it today. It's a pure delight. And we invite you to buy one and have it at any time of the day. Still to come, we've got sports for you. My people, Accra House of Oak, we are still not very happy with how things happened last Sunday, but we still never say die.
Never say
die. Yes. Never say die. Oh yes, we'll bounce back. As for the Porcupine Plantain team, we leave them to God. And still, they are number 9 on the table. They are number 7. In spite of this unfortunate stolen verdicts. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.